Hi, my name's Dorothy, and this is my Teach 1 for Multi-Morbidity Index Scoring Likelihood Ratios for HAP 464. So today we're going to be learning how to calculate likelihood ratios. Likelihood ratios will be used to assess the relationship between a risk factor and an outcome. In this case, we are going to use the risk factor of an age at DX and the outcome of age at death. Higher likelihood ratio means a greater association between the risk factor and the outcome. In this exercise, we will calculate the likelihood ratio for patient's death within 6 months of a diagnosis to see if diagnosis is a risk factor that can be used to predict death. All right, so here we have our formula for calculating likelihood ratio. You can see that it's dead with diagnosis over dead over alive with diagnosis over alive. That's been translated to the bottom into the variables of A, B, C, and D. And to the right, you see the contingency table, and that's how we select the data for those different components in our likelihood ratio. First, we see at the top half of our ratio, finding the total number of dead and dead with the DX. If you look on the contingency table to the right, you can see I've highlighted in yellow the category for dead in 6 months. And the association variables of A would be all the dead with the present diagnosis. And the A plus C at the bottom is the total number of dead. You can also see how we get the bottom part of our formula. Highlighted in yellow is people who are not dead within 6 months, which we're calling alive, and you can see the correlating values there. So the first thing we do with our code is we need to find who are the patients who have died in the last 6 months. And you can see in the right that is how we are binarizing it into the hashtag data table. We are also making a data 2 table. This is to remove duplicates and to isolate our dead and alive patients. And here we see how we calculate total number of dead and alive by summing the A plus C and the B plus D groups. And we'll be using that in our likelihood ratio. You can see at the bottom our results, and I've included the formula again so that you can see where we're at. Okay, next we are calculating the rest of our contingency table so that we can get all the elements we need for our formula at the end, including A, B, C, D, A plus C, B plus D, and A plus B. And we're going to put that into a new temp table so that we can finally get our likelihood ratios. And finally, we're at the part where we actually calculate the likelihood ratios. We have, including our ICD-9 codes and all the elements, and then we do the formula, and then you see at the end those are our results. The step at the beginning is because we need to add 1 in case that there are any numbers that are 0. You cannot divide by 0, so that is how we deal with that scenario. And the rest here is full code.